What's cracking, YouTube? Stepping outside to smoke a stogie, because some of my cigars, they don't smell the nicest, and to be quite frank with you, they are stinky. I enjoy the smell of a good cigar, but not everyone's going to be a fan of it. Yeah. Of a lighter. Okay, so where to start? I got a comment on a couple of my videos. One person comments, I don't like veggie made patties, but I like watching Cobra cook videos. Yeah, you know, I'm on the fence about it myself, but once I got over the fact that it was a veggie burger, you know, easy enough to eat. It tasted decent. I know that's going to trigger a lot of vegans because they see that vegetable burger with bacon on it. You want some solid dating advice? Don't be in a rush to get a girlfriend. Be in a rush to make a friend. And trust and believe double standards are a bitch. Men might complain that women are allowed to have standards and men aren't when it comes to dating and how unfair that is. But keep in mind, fellas, that a man's sexual conquest is celebrated, whereas a woman's is shunned. Men get called players and studs for getting all that pussy, you know. And women get called sluts and whores for giving it out, and that's kind of unfair. That being said, you know, I noticed that Casper chicks are digging on me, and that's what's up. Being a YouTube celebrity is going to help with that. Yeah. But here's what I'm saying, YouTube. If women are allowed to have standards, then men should be allowed to have standards. And if men's sexual conquest is celebrated, then a woman's should be celebrated as well. And here's another thing of it. A sexually liberated woman is seen as empowering, whereas a sexually liberated male is seen as intimidating. I don't agree with that. You have all these double standards on the dating scene that make dating complicated for both genders. Because that's why it's called a double standard, because it affects both genders. It has its primary effective, which is the standard regarding men or women, and then the secondary effective is how it affects the other gender as a consequence as well. And people give me shit about having a dry spell, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. Because if you see people who are in a rush to find pussy, usually they're going to be unhappy with their choice. I'm just saying. Other fish in the sea, as they say. Well, fishing's no different. You're not going to catch the perfect fish your first trip out to the fishing hole. They gotta teach you how to fish, and then they gotta teach you how to wait patiently. Yeah, buddy. Much like guitar playing or training a dog, it takes patience, dedication. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm the greatest at guitar, but I'm definitely getting better at it. That custom-made Fender that I made kicks ass, by the way, YouTube. Oh yeah, I love my Spellcaster. There ain't another Fender out there like it. Custom-made whammy bar and everything. Yeah. Who knows? Someday that guitar may be worth more money in the world. You never know, really. You never know what life has in store because you haven't lived it yet. Yeah. And truth be told, women respect men who aren't players. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that, YouTube. Women do not respect players. The only reason they're forced to, or they feel like they have to, is because of how a male's sexual conquest is overly celebrated in our society. Yep. Now, whereas a man's sexual conquest is overly celebrated in our society, the female form is overly sexualized in our society. Which means women are set to a higher beauty standard than men. And it's horse crap. Don't believe me? Okay. We tell women to embrace their natural curves, and then we try to sell them bullshit like shaper panties. You see the ad for this shit on YouTube. This chick's like, I'm not gonna hide behind my clothing anymore, as she totally hides behind her clothing. Ladies, you don't need shaper panties. If you want to lose weight, lose weight. You don't have to if you don't want to. You feel me? Don't let society ass backwards preach to you like that. Sincerely, like they tell women in our society, embrace your natural womanly curve, body positivity. And then it's kind of ass backwards to preach body positivity and then offer products like shaper panties, you know. Now, Gillette Venus offers a plus-size model for their ad campaign, which I think is great for the body positivity movement. But, of course, people complain about it because they're either skinnier or they weren't featured in the ad. It's just how it is. You know, it's funny because when you hear other women complain about that Gillette ad as being supportive towards obesity and shit, because I've heard women make claims that Gillette Venus ad featuring the plus size model encourages obesity, and I'm like, okay, that's a stretch. You're just mad because they didn't feature you on the ad, and if they would have featured you on the ad, they would have said, oh, that model's too skinny, she's not a fair representation of all women types. And I'm like, now, with shit like that, YouTube, you realize that in our society, sometimes you can't win. You try to please everybody, and someone's going to be offended. You want to hear a joke? Women be bleaching their assholes. How the fuck they doing that? They pouring it in their man's cup or on their man's head. And another thing, how the fuck did a generation raised on South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, you know, Adult Swim, Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy, all these offensive adult cartoons, how the fuck did a bunch of generation get raised on that cartoons and turn out to be such fucking snowflakes? Like, what the fuck? You know? Kids who grew up watching South Park and shit like that are now the biggest snowflakes on the planet. They're easily offended. What? Fuck out of here with that. The society we live in is so happy, and on top of that, everything's sexist, everything's racist, everyone's offended. Get the fuck out of here with that. You like these kinds of rants, YouTube? Subscribe for more.